Alright, beauties, this is practice number 3. You're going to need a bolster and a block, and also obviously a mat. Always good to be near a wall as well. Alright, so we're going to get started in a wide knee child's pose. If this is too much for you today, you can also come down onto your belly and do the same things that I'm going to show you with my arms. All right. So you might want to keep a block nearby as well, so you've got something to rest your head on. We're coming down into either one knee child's pose, or you can also be on your belly. And then take your left arm straight ahead and feed your right arm under. So you're feeling the upper portion of your back, like in between your shoulder blades, start to open. And also your inner leg line. So this is where we're working a little bit more into the meridian channels, the stomach and the spleen, and very much about the whole digesting and, you know, kind of processing not just food physically, but also the information we take in, the emotions we're working with. So I won't be talking a lot, that's the whole point, but I will give you enough just to guide you into those spaces where you can feel for a deeper let go. Just let yourself rest down. Don't worry if your mind's super active, like the practice will take care of that eventually. Okay, my loves, and then coming down onto your belly. And just letting your arms rest by your side for a breath or so. Just allowing yourself to uptake whatever's happening in your body right now. Let's move to the other side. Sink it in. Just, if you want to come onto your belly, you may. Otherwise, big toes touch, knees wide apart. This time your right arm comes straight ahead and left arm goes under. And so again, we're not, going to any level of extreme intensity in these practices, because yoga for overwhelm and anxiety and stress, we want to be able to allow our nervous system to recalibrate, to downregulate. Otherwise, we're just like functioning in this real hyper-vigilant state that doesn't allow any of our organs to function optimally at all. And even on a very physical level, if our stomach isn't functioning, then our food is not getting digested, and we end up with all sorts of things like leaky gut, IBS, all that stuff. So again, if there's any of these practices where you feel you want to stay longer, then just pause the video and stay. Easing your way out. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Coming again down onto your belly for a moment. And allow yourself to feel the support of the earth. So stomach and spleen is connected with earth element. Which is very much about being in the body, being in feeling rather than thinking. coming all the way up. And we're setting up for half saddle now. There's a sequence to this where you can do the next 3 poses in succession and then take a rebound. Personally, I'm not going to do that today. So we'll do 1 pose rebound and go that way. So it will take a little bit longer, but if you want to move through this a little bit quicker, you can do the 3. To be like half saddle to dragon to sleeping swan, and then you'll come to rest. So we're starting with half saddle, which means you have your left knee bent, your right leg straight. Now you can obviously just stay upright, that's plenty for a lot of us. Your next move may be to come down onto your elbows perhaps, or even just back onto your hands a little bit. And then of course, if you have the range today, you can come all the way down. A bolster is always an option too if you've got that luxury. You can always, like a homemade version of some rolled up blankets or whatever else you've got around the house. And again, I don't know about you guys, but I know myself when I am working with any of those feelings of anxiety, overwhelm or stress, I don't then want a yoga practice or a class that's going to give me more information to think about. Which is why these classes are so quiet. So it's like, if you need a little bit of music, go for it. Otherwise, just let yourself be in feeling in the quiet. Okay, beauties. Just roll in slowly onto your right side. Release your left leg and let yourself uptake that for a moment. Okay, and then changing sides. If you want to go into the next pose and stay on one side, dragon. Otherwise, coming into the other side of half saddle, so your right knee is bent. I'm only really offering you guys those poses to do in concession if you're not able to allow for the time in between each side. And I guess this is probably the longest of all the practices, so you can always just pick and choose a pose or two that you feel you really need from this practice. You don't need to do all of it all the time. So again, it's just about picking up the tools that we've got kind of on the spot and doing what we can with what we've managed to kind of put in our toolkit, I guess. beauties, rolling over onto your left side. If you're doing half saddle, release your right leg and again just uptake. Okay, beauties, easing on up to sitting. And we're going to come into dragon pose. So as you know, there's a number of different ways that we can do this. It's good to have a block, but if you don't have one, that's okay. Start with your right foot forward, left leg is back. So you have your hands on the block, which is probably where I'm going to be today. Sometimes I rest my elbow on my front knee if I'm feeling a bit more open. And then some of you might want to have your hands on the floor. That kind of gets more into the hip for me, and I want to get really into the top of the left thigh, purely because that's the stomach and spleen meridian lines. So I mean, it's not like all the poses touch on the meridian lines in some way, but sometimes it's just good to have that idea of the area in which we want to feel for a let go, I guess. And essentially what we're doing when we're opening up meridian channels is allowing for chi, or life force, to flow more freely. When it flows more freely, everything is getting the energy that it needs to, and therefore everything is functioning optimally. When the stomach and spleen don't function optimally in terms of the meridians, the energetic imbalance manifests as extreme worry, high level anxiety, and like really obsessive thinking, like overthinking. Last few breaths. Alright, my loves, come out pretty slowly. Oh, you probably won't have much choice. I always feel about 153 years old. Oh, and then come onto your belly or your back. Just let your body uptake those changes. Let's transition to the other side. So again, your left leg forward. You can use a block again if you need to. Choosing the variation that gets into the top of your thigh. So with these more intense ones, I'm purposely not holding them that long today, just because I want to really emphasize that these practices in this workshop are very much the restorative end of the yin spectrum, because the whole purpose is to get our nervous system into the rest and digest phase as quickly as possible, so we're out of the high anxiety, high stress level kind of state of being. So feel free to make any noises that you feel you need to make. That like noise where it's like, oh, like, that's actually the sound of your nervous system switching gears. So particularly the fact that we're at home doing this means that we've got a bit more freedom and anonymity in terms of the noises that we make. My neighbours probably think I'm a bit of a weirdo, but that's alright. So long as I'm not stressed, it's kind of alright, really. Alright, beauties, ease in and out and come in directly onto your belly, so right down onto your tummy or on your back if that feels a little bit better, and give yourself a bit of time to uptake that. Alrighty, coming on up to sitting. So there's a few different variations of this one. We're coming into sleeping swan. I'm gonna offer you the general known version. So you got your left knee bent, coming either forward, or you can walk towards your left foot. It's quite nice sometimes to have a bolster there that you can rest onto. I quite like that. Or a block underneath your left butt cheek to support. Now the other alternative is to do this on the wall. So you've got your left ankle over your right thigh. You can scoot your butt closer or further away from the wall. Maybe even arms over your head. So again, just choose the one where you feel it's like allowing you to rest more than actually work. You know, there are times in yin where you're kind of more towards the intense end of the spectrum. This isn't one of those times. Come on out. Slowly, slowly. Oh, lay down onto your belly or your back for a moment. Oh. And just let your body uptake that change, whatever is shifting through your body in this moment. Just let it go, let it move, let it stay the same. Just welcome everything that's here right now. Okay, changing sides. So you know, double sides, we're always going to feel it differently on one side, and you may have already figured out which is your tighter side, so just kind of accordingly adjust. So along with the stomach and the spleen meridian, this particular muscle that gets worked in this pose is called the piriformis, which is the muscle that is connected to control. And there's an interesting relationship for me, because I find that my anxiety levels are always heightened when I'm trying to control the uncontrollable. And that's what actually causes me to go into these really high anxious states. And so by teaching this muscle to relax control on a very physical level, there's a message that gets conveyed to our energetic body that tells our energetic body it's okay to surrender. So we stop trying to control the uncontrollable, and therefore our anxiety levels can reduce. They can lower. Because we have that sense of knowing that everything's going to be okay. And there goes the bell. Oh. It's coming all the way up. Oh. You come all the way down. It's lying on your belly or your back again. Just give your body the time that it needs to process, integrate. Probably by now you're feeling really tired or sleepy. I actually used to avoid yin altogether because it made me feel tired, and what I realise now is actually that's not tired, that's me not in a hypervigilant state. AKA a normal way of feeling, which I just didn't recognise. Okay, so we're coming next into saddle, or for a lot of you guys that might not be an option, you can come into supported bridge. I'll show you guys both. If you know them, obviously just head straight in. Supported bridge, you can use a block or a bolster, so again it's really up to you. I would only really suggest the lowest level of a block today, just because we want to keep it. A lot of the time back bends can actually move us into a more upregulated state, so we want to just kind of keep into that whole idea of staying in a less kind of active version of the pose. So lowest version there, so it's more of a restorative experience. And then obviously saddle is your knees are bent, you're sat either in between your heels, or you can sit on your heels. You can also sit on a block actually, so what kind of get creative. And then coming down either onto your elbows to start, or that might be too much even today, you can just be on your hands like so, or even sitting upright. If you've got a bolster, you can come down onto a bolster. Just run that the same direction of your spine, or otherwise all the way down. It's kind of the goal of the practice is not to get to the deepest version of the pose today. Like, I can't stress that enough. I'm in this version because this pose is a particularly easy one for my body. There are many poses that aren't. This is not one of them. But again, it's just like real reminder if we want to stay in that space of ease and comfort, so that we're resting all of our organs and systems that don't need to be working. take your time to transition. Oh. So again, just that whole idea of uptaking. Okay, beauties, easing on up to sitting. So you have the option for our final pose of doing dragonfly, which is a straddle like so. You can always be sat up on a block or a blanket or something like that. And you can always have your knees bent a little bit, I guess, if that kind of works for you. The other alternative is to come into a Baddha Konasana shape. So you're in butterfly pose, not dragonfly. So I guess just depending on what's available for you today. So if you're coming into butterfly pose, soles of your feet are together and you're forward folding. Heels are about 18 or so inches away from your groin. And then if you're doing dragonfly, you're in a full wide leg straddle and you're folding forward. Same really, but just again, letting your body go in at its own rate. Just noticing the activity in your mind now as opposed to when we started, whenever that was, an hour or so ago. And again, it's that trust in the process of the practice that all we really need to do is put our body into these shapes and the rest is going to be taken care of. Coming on up slowly, slowly, unless you need longer. And this time laying back for Shavasana, final rest. If legs up the wall is better for you, or there's something else that your body just needs right now, take it. If you need longer in Shavasana, stay as long as you need. Otherwise, invite your breath in. Noticing the change physically, emotionally and mentally. As you keep your eyes closed, transition to one side. And bringing yourself up to sitting, hands to rest easy at your heart. Congratulate yourself on taking positive steps to working alongside your own relationship to overwhelm, anxiety and stress. Namaste.